Hi there, Davey Cretin for Cretin Classics. Welcome to a concert review of the Beach Boys plus the opening band Locash. This is a show I saw a few weeks ago at Jones Beach, although technically, we New Yorkers, just like we call it Westbury Music Fair, even though technically it's not Westbury Music Fair, the venue is now Northwell at Jones Beach, Wonton, New York. So that's where I saw the show, Jones Beach. Concert review, The Beach Boys plus Locash from Saturday, July 5th of 2025. A few weeks back, although this might take a while to air. The opener was this bro country act called Locash that I had never heard of. Two dudes, acoustic guitarists singing, and they had a three-piece backing band. The drummer, an electric guitar player, and an electric bass player. They have a song called Beach Boys, which they played, of course, from 2022 that both Mike Love and Bruce Johnston of the Beach Boys sang on. So that's the connection. That's how they got the opening spot on the Beach Boys summer tour. There's your connection. Besides playing their own big hits, I Love This Life and Hometown Home, they also performed an unusual rock and roll medley, this band. Consisted of The Outfield's Your Love, Bryan Adams' Summer of '69, Jimmy Eat World's The Middle, and Fountains of Wayne's Stacy's Mom. I would say that their originals covered a wide range of musical influences and styles, from classic country to the modern country, bro country sound, to rock and roll, and even a little bit of hip hop in one song too. Now, bro country's not really my thing, but they put on a decent show. They were on stage for 40, maybe 45 minutes. The backing band was tight. The bass player was really good. And I think they used all real vocals, maybe some sweetening on the choruses, but the vocals seemed real. They put on a good show, and they had a bunch of fans there. People were singing along to their songs. And there are a lot of country music fans on Long Island. There's a country radio station, and there are always a lot of country music shows at Jones Beach and Westbury Music Fair. So on Long Island, New York, right next to me here in Queens, New York, country is popular. So Locash opened. Now, before I talk about the Beach Boys, take a quick drink. I want to thank my sister for taking me to this concert. She's taken me to a bunch of shows over my life, and back in the day, I used to take her to shows. So one hand washes the other. So thank you, Mandy. Now, the Beach Boys are an American institution, and I can't believe I've never seen them live until right now, till a few weeks back, July 5th at Jones Beach. Outdoor setting. It was a beautiful night for a concert. Not too hot, not too humid, and there was a nice breeze. I didn't need a jacket, so great night to see a show. Sometimes if you go to Jones Beach and see a show in the rain, and I've seen plenty of those in the rain, but more on that another time when I do some classic concert reviews. So the Beach Boys, I can't believe they have 29 studio albums, including a Christmas album. That's a lot of darn albums. They did 32 songs, played 2 hours. Now, the Beach Boys technically nowadays only consist of 2 official members. Mike Love on vocals, tambourine, occasional sax. He's 84 years old. 84, and he's still performing. Wow. And Bruce Johnston on vocals, basically, in the studio, and occasionally live, he plays keyboards, bass, percussion, but mainly a singer. He's 83. His real name, Bruce Johnston, believe it or not, is Benjamin Baldwin. I think that's a pretty cool name. Why change it to Bruce Johnston? And of course, he wrote the Barry Manilow hit song, I Write the Songs. Barry did a song called I Write the Songs. I've seen Barry Manilow live in concert. I think it was 3 years in a row back in the day at Jones Beach. And Bruce Johnston wrote the song I Write the Songs. Barry didn't even write it. He just sings it and had the big hit with it. But Bruce is making all the buck from it. Now, they had a big backing band. And the main draw, I think one of the main draws of this show was John Stamos, played with the Beach Boys. And he has played with the Beach Boys on and off going back 40 years now, since 1985. There was a girl in the row ahead of me, and when she got up and went down to see her friends, get a drink, whatever, she had a shirt on, and the shirt said, "I'm here for Uncle Jesse." And the crowd reaction that he got when he was introduced, well, he is definitely brought a lot of the women out. And the reaction he got, I don't think I've seen a reaction like that from female fans since I went to a Melissa Etheridge concert at Jones Beach. And that crowd was very loud, just like the ladies loving John Stamos. And he's older than I am at 61. And he just still looks like he's 30 years old, looks younger than me. So he was a big draw, and he was part of the band. He was playing guitar. He sang a song, which I'll get to in a minute, played drums. So he was all over the stage. They had an 8-piece backing band, so 10 guys on stage, and sometimes not even all 10 guys were on stage. Just to go through through everyone in the band here. Tim, and I hope I pronounced some of the last names right here, Tim Bonhomme on keyboards and vocals was in the Cowsills, and now he's with the Beach Boys. Christian Love, Mike Love's son, on rhythm guitar and vocals. Brian Eichenberger on vocals and rhythm guitar. He's the musical director. He was in, I guess, the vocal band way back in the 50s and 60s, the Four Freshmen. So these guys that they're using, they have some pedigree here. Randy Lego, Leago, sax, flute, harmonica, percussion, vocals, Nashville session cat, just well known down south. Keith Hubacher on bass and vocals, John Wedemeyer on lead guitar and vocals, tours with the Righteous Brothers, plays with them. And last but definitely not least, a man John Stamos brought into the Beach Boys orbit last year in 2024. On drums, John Jon Bolton on drums and vocals. He sang a few songs. I'll get to that. So this American institution, I'm glad I finally got to see them. Thanks to my sister. All 10 guys sang, so I don't think there were any pre-recorded vocals at this show. I don't think all 10 guys sang at once, but it was definitely real vocals, and these guys could sing. Great harmony vocals throughout the show, and the fact that Mike Love at 84 is singing the bulk of the songs, and I only saw him sit down on stage on the drum riser once during the whole show. Wow, guy's a force. You got to admire that. 84-year-old going out and touring. So here is the set list. They open with an intro video saying that they're the Beach Boys and they were there back in the 60s. They formed in 61. First album came out early in 1962. And from 62 to 66, I think it was 66, they released 2 to 3 albums a year. Wow, what an output. And I was always impressed by rock bands in the 70s that made 2 albums a year. When Queen did it, or Thin Lizzy, Elton John, any group or artist band like that, 2 albums a year. And in the early 60s, the Beach Boys were doing 3 albums a year. Amazing. Intro video went into Do It Again from 1969's 2020 album. Up next, the title track from Surfin' Safari from 1962. Oh, Do It Again was 1969, if I didn't say that. Third track, Catch a Wave from Surfer Girl from 1963. Fourth track from the All Summer Long album, 1964, Don't Back Down. Now, track 5 was really unusual, and my sister nudged me. The Beach Boys covered the Ramones. They covered Rockaway Beach from 1977's third Ramones album, Rocket to Russia. And it was just strange because the way Mike Love introduced it, Not Far From Here. This is a song by the Ramones called Rockaway Beach. And that was very unusual to see the Beach Boys do Rockaway Beach. But it was cool, and it was a surprise. It was unexpected. The thing about going to concerts is I do not like to check Setlist FM before I go see a show. I check afterwards to see if there was any different songs of the night that I saw compared to other dates. So going into the show and not knowing what they were doing, I mean, I knew they'd do the hits that are coming up that I'll get to, but they did a bunch of deep tracks, and covering the Ramones. So weird, but very cool. Moving on, the title track to 1963's Surfin' USA was song number 6. Title track to Surfer Girl from 1963, song number 7. You're So Good to Me from 1965, Summer Days and Summer Nights. And for this song, Bruce Johnston sang lead vocals. So everything else up to now, the first 7 songs, were all Mike Love. Moving on to track 9 from the Beach Boys Today, 1965, When I Grow Up to Be a Man. Darlin' from Wild Honey from 1967 was next. John Bolton, the drummer, sang lead vocals on that song. Next, Be True to Your School, 1963 from the Little Deuce Coupe album. From Surfer Girl, 1963, In My Room was up next, which is a really great mellow swaying song. I like seeing them do In My Room. Don't Worry Baby was up next from Shut Down Volume 2 from 1964. Then they did Little Deuce Coupe from Surfer Girl from 1963. 409 was track number 15 from 1962's Surfin' Safari. Then we got Shut Down from 1962's Surfin' Safari. So they hit that album twice in a row. Then 2 songs from All Summer Long, Little Honda, 1964, and I Get Around from 1964. Then there was a brief video interlude called Brian's Back, and it was a Brian Wilson tribute video because this was right after he had passed, unfortunately. So he was one of the co-founders. He wrote a lot of the great songs over the years. He was the genius behind the band, I guess you could say that, definitely. So they had a nice tribute video to him. Then they went back to track number 19, The Warmth of the Sun, from 1964's Shut Down Volume 2. They went back to that album. Track number 20, John Stamos, lead vocal. The women, the girls, they went crazy, from Sunflower from 1970. The second song from the 70s, if you include the Ramones song that they covered. Everything else has been from the 60s so far. This was the second track from the 70s. Forever is the song from Sunflower 1970. Then after that, they did one of the greatest songs of all time from Pet Sounds, God Only Knows, from 1966. An amazing song. I loved seeing that live. And Mike's son, Christian Love, sang that song. Next was huge hit for them in 1965, California Girls from Summer Days and Summer Nights. Followed it up with another song from Summer Days and Summer Nights, Then I Kissed Her, also from 1965. Then they went into their first song. Well, they released it in the 80s, but it's actually a song from the 60s. One of my favorite songs of all time by the Mamas and the Papas, and the Beach Boys covered it in the 80s, California Dreaming. Now their version, it's good, it's decent, but it doesn't touch the original to me. It was originally on the Made in USA compilation album that came out in 1986, and the drummer, John Bolton, sang lead vocals on California Dreamin' here. Then they bounced back to the traditional song from Pet Sounds, 1966, Sloop John B. And what a great song that is. Just seeing songs from Pet Sounds live, some of the highlights of the show. Moving on, song number 26, also from Pet Sounds, but this one had lead vocals from Brian Eichenberger. Wouldn't It Be Nice? Awesome classic song. Help Me Rhonda was track 27 from the Beach Boys Today, 1965. Lead vocals by Mike's son, Christian Love, on that one. Then another song that, oddly enough, I sang, because the Beach Boys covered it. It was originally written by Bobby Freeman. The song Do You Want to Dance? With a question mark, from 1965, the Beach Boys Today. Bruce Johnston sang lead on this. And the Ramones covered it, so I sang this song that they did, Do You Want to Dance? And I also obviously sang Rockaway Beach from my days back in the Ramones tribute band back in the early 2000s. Next up, classic song, Good Vibrations, from 1967's Smiley Smile, the only time they hit this particular album. Christian Love, Mike's son, sang lead on that one. Track 30, and now we're near the end of the show. And there was no encore. I think they did everything straight, if I remember correctly. And they were on stage for over 2 hours. This is a song beloved by many. Not one of my favorite songs. It was originally on a movie soundtrack in 1988, a Tom Cruise movie, and Brian Brown, if memory serves, called Cocktail. And the huge Beach Boys hit Kokomo, and the crowd just ate that song up. Now, the Beach Boys released it in 1989 on their new studio album at the time, one of the last new studio records. Well, they may have done 2 or 3 after this. Still Cruisin', with no G at the end, just the apostrophe. So came out on the Cocktail soundtrack in 88, Still Cruisin' 1989, Kokomo, and the 2 gentlemen who fronted Locash came back on stage to sing Kokomo with the Beach Boys. And then they were on stage for the final 2 songs. Track number 31 from Beach Boys Party, with an exclamation point on it. Originally done by the Regents back in the day. And this is, of course, Barbara Ann. One of their most well-known songs was the next to last song. Locash was on stage singing this one. And then they ended the night from Shutdown Volume 2, 1964, with Fun, Fun, Fun. So that was the last of the 32 songs the Beach Boys did. Locash was on stage again. So you got like a dozen guys on stage. It's almost like the Beach Boys orchestra. And then they, as they took their bows and left the stage, the music that played on the speakers was Gonna Fly Now, the theme from Rocky by Bill Conte. So it was a fun, enjoyable show. I really liked it. Once again, I want to thank my sister for taking me. Everyone on stage sang at one time or another for the most part for the Beach Boys. Great vocals, really fun. The crowd was really into it. I don't think it was a sellout, but it was very well attended, because getting out of that parking lot at Jones Beach takes a little while. And my sister had the patience of a saint, so thanks for driving, Mandy. Just want to look at my notes and see if I have anything else. Yeah, just basically to sum up, they did 28 songs from the 60s, from 62 to 69, 2 songs from the 70s, the one from Sunflower from 1970, and then the Ramones song from 77, and 2 songs from the 80s, Kokomo and, the California Dreaming cover. Technically, it's from the 60s, but they put it out in the 80s. So 32 songs, you got a lot of bang for your buck. So, and it wasn't a 1-hour show, it wasn't a 90-minute show, 2 hours. A lot of rock bands, real younger modern rock bands don't even play that long. So kudos to the Beach Boys. It was entertaining. It was fun. It was different. Maybe a little out of my wheelhouse. Because everyone, well, not everyone. There are a few people who don't like the Beach Boys, but an American institution. So it was great to see them. I had a fun time, and it was a good show. And I don't know how long these guys are going to be touring. So I would recommend that if you have the chance, if they're touring off season or next summer, maybe, because, wow, by then Mike Love's going to be 85 years old. So definitely see the Beach Boys if you can. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your viewing this video. Thank you to all my subscribers out there. And like, subscribe, and comment. Have you ever seen the Beach Boys? What did you think about the show? Did you ever see them back in the day when Brian was in the band, or any reunion shows, or when Carl was in the band, even Dennis back in the day? So let me know what you think of the Beach Boys in the comments below, your favorite songs, favorite show you've seen them at. Thank you very much. Always remember to rock out, prog on, and pogo. Davey Cretin for Cretin Classics. And I will see you shortly in my next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.